Hello and welcome to the Learning Crypto YouTube channel. In this video, we are featuring Kusama, KSM, and take a look at some potential buy areas, TPs for the next bull run in both the USDT and BTC pairs. First of all, though, a quick thank you to our sponsors at Blowfin Exchange, who have an exclusive offer of 15% cashback on deposits up to 500 USDT back to your account, but only if you use our link in the description below. On top of that, they're currently running a trading tournament with a top prize of 50,000 USDT, and that is running until the 20th of Feb. No KYC and open to UK customers, so be sure to check that out in the link below. And of course, nothing in this video should constitute as financial advice. And finally, if you do enjoy our content, please do like and consider subscribe to the channel. It really does help us grow, and we do appreciate it. So let's get into the charts. As you can see, we have got a nice tidy weekly range to work off of. So weekly range high coming in at around $66, $67. Weekly range low coming in about 36, and a mid-range coming in at around about $50. You can see we've bottomed out here back in October, made a nice strong weekly candle here on the 18th of December. And we've pulled back quite nicely into this strong level of previous weekly resistance, now holding as support. So you can see we tried to deviate back inside this range back on the 13th of Feb 2023. Nice strong weekly candle close, however, couldn't hold its support, broke down below, and then you can see it held as resistance all the way through March and April before finding new lows. And as I say, bottoming out on that 16th of October. We've had that strong weekly impulse now and holding it this weekly range low as support, which is very bullish in my personal opinion. So as long as we continue to hold this weekly level, no weekly candle closes below, I think we could be on for a decent run. So we've had a decent retracement, as I say, from those weekly range highs of about $64. We've pulled back that, we've got that spike back in the middle of Jan, 47%, but even today we're still 36% down from that rally. So if you're getting FOMO on KSM back in December, then you've got this pullback now, and it looks like a pretty decent level. If we take a look at a fib retracement from this big impulse, you can see that we've already tagged the 786 down at $34, $35. So as I say, I think this has done its retracement. Unless BTC does something horrible like a big 20-30% retracement, I think KSM may well have bottomed in the USDT pair, making higher lows and holding these weekly range lows, which looks pretty good. Now, just a return back to these weekly range highs from today's prices is a pretty decent 60% return, so that's not too bad. However, there is a long way to go to get back to all-time highs if we return to all-time highs. Now, if you remember, KSM was up at around $600, $650 previous all-time highs. It doesn't get as much love as its sister chain in Polkadot. However, if KSM were to get back to those, or even halfway back to those previous all-time highs, then the risk reward is still fantastic. Whether it gets there or not, we'll have to wait and see. But let's take a look and hope for the best and see what kind of returns we could make if KSM were to pull that off. Now I'm going to change the chart to a logarithmic chart, just a lot easier to see everything as opposed to if we go to the regular chart. You know, it's pretty hard to fit on the screen. So let's go log, see everything a lot more clearly. So first TP, if we were to break out of this weekly range high, I think we'd make quite a fast move up to around about the $118 level, as you can see marked out there. Clear level of support back here in February and March 2022. Then we lost it as support in May, and then we went down all the way to the low. So I think that'd be a very big profit taking area. And as well, it's a clear level of support. I think it'll be a strong level of resistance. Not only that, but there's pretty much nothing but air between breaking the weekly range high of $70 or $68, $70 and coming up to $118. So let's take a look at what a return to those prices would be from today's prices. You're looking at 180% return. And as I say, if we break out these weekly range highs, which isn't really beyond the realms of possibility at all, then I think it will be quite a fast move up. So I think that first TP1, unless something disastrous happens to the project, is a very, very good likelihood of happening. Let's take a look at TP2 here, just above $200 in and around that area. You can see strong level of support in February and March 21, and then flip to resistance here in February and March 2022. Again, big profit taking level, $200 around that big psychological level. You might want to front run it slightly, but let's take a look at what the return to those prices would be just shy of 400%, so huge returns potentially. And as I say, if we were to get up to this first TP at around $118, you can see this is pretty much a range. So this is like your range low and $200 is your range high. You can see we bouncing around there throughout February and March 2022. So if we were to deviate, get back inside this range here of $118, then I think there's a good possibility that we then run up to the next TP of TP2. And as I say, from today's price is 400%. That is not a bad return at all. Final two TPs, you've got this one here, slightly higher, about 338. Again, big level of previous support and resistance. It was the top of this little rally we had in December 2021 before a bigger leg down. Let's take a look at what a return to those prices would be from here. 700%, which is huge. And again, that's about halfway to previous all-time highs. Doesn't look it on the log chart, but obviously all-time highs are here about 623, so around $300. That's halfway. So as I said before, even if we get halfway to all-time highs, that's still a fantastic return, 700%. And then finally, the all-time highs, as I say, 500, well, anywhere between sort of $530, which is the highest weekly candle close, and $600. Let's take a look at what a return to those prices would be. You're looking at anywhere between, so $500 is 1,100%. The absolute all-time highs at $630 is 1,400%. Now, as I say, will we get back up there again? Certainly not guarantee. As I said before, Polkadot seems a lot more popular than KSM now. However, if for whatever reason, things change, projects have rebranded in the past or made changes to their goals and aspirations, etc. They've made changes and it's had a positive effect. So who knows what could happen, but the risk to reward seems very good. May well be worth having just a small bag just in case. But as I say, from today's prices up to those all-time highs, 1,400%. But with that being said, I think it'd be very important to take profits along the way with this one, because we don't know how far it is going to get. And as I always say, you don't go broke taking profits. So let's move on then to the BTC side of things. And once again, we've got a nice clean range to work off of. Let's just switch it back to the regular chart for now, and then we'll switch it back to log when we look at the TP. So weekly range high at 1,300 sats, weekly range low 555 sats, and a mid-range coming in at 945 sats. And again, nice clean mid-range where it's been a clear level of support and resistance in the past. Currently trading below it, so we're in this lower half of the range, which I believe pretty good area to be dollar cost averaging in. Now this again is a little bit risky in terms of projects to put your BTC into, because as I say, we don't know whether KSM is going to perform as well as it did in the previous cycle. However, if it does, then the risk to reward is great. So let's take a look at what retracement it's done since this rally back in December. You see it had an attempt at breaking out its weekly range high and it failed. We're currently 40% back from that. So again, if you're feeling FOMO, now might be a good time to start dollar cost averaging in, or maybe you want to wait until we get a weekly candle close back above that weekly mid-range. We take a look at the fib from this impulse here. You can see we just shy of tapping that 786 down at about 800 sats. So again, maybe anywhere between here and the 786, or wait until the weekly mid-range gets reclaimed. Any of those pretty good areas for dollar cost averaging into. So let's take a look at some potential TPs if and when we finally do break out of this weekly range. So let's go back to the log chart, reset. So let's take a look at TP1. Now I believe first TP, pretty easy to spot on the chart. You can see big level of support back here in November and December 2020, January 21, and then it's and here as well in June, and then big resistance in December 2022 and February 2023. And once again, much like with the USDT pair, I think it'll be a very fast move from breaking out of this weekly range high at 1,300 sats up to this first TP area of around 1,900 sats, front running that 2,000 sat psychological level. So let's take a look at what a return from today's price would be. Back up to that TP, 115% on your Bitcoin, not too bad at all. Next TP, big level of resistance here in October and November 2020, flipped to support in February 21, February 2022, and then resistance again in the summer of 2022. And that comes in at around just over 3,000 sats. Again, you might want to front run it slightly, but a return to those prices from here, you're looking at just shy of 250%. Next TP, Slightly higher, you can argue that this is a bit of a range, similar to the one we saw on the USDT pair. So the range low being about 3,000 sats, range high being about 4,500 sats. You can see we bounced in between here in February, March, and April. So let's take a look at a return to those prices from today. You're looking at 400% return on your Bitcoin. Next TP, big level of resistance here. As you can see, it was basically a huge level of resistance all the way through July 2021, and then November, December 2021, January, Feb, etc. So yeah, big level of resistance here, 6,600 sats. Let's take a look at what a return from today's prices to there would be. 650%. Final two TPs, pretty obvious one here. These two highs in March 2021 and September 2021, in and around just shy of 10,000 sats. Again, front running it slightly, so about 9,600, 9,700 sats. A return from today's prices up to there, you're looking at 1,000%. And then finally, the absolute all-time highs on KSM BTC coming at about 14,000 sats, and a return to those prices from today's prices, you're looking at, again, 1,500%. Now, again, much like the USDT pair, I would be very aggressive in taking profits in the KSM BTC pair, because as I say, we don't know how well KSM is going to perform in this cycle, and particularly we're not sure how well alts are going to perform against BTC in this cycle. Now we've got the ETFs, etc. So I would be very cautious about taking profits if you are using KSM to build your Bitcoin, and as well in the USDT pair as well. However, as I have said, the risk to reward is definitely in your favor here, and you've got some easily invalidations. So if you wanted to wait to convert some KSM into BTC when the weekly mid-range is reclaimed with a weekly candle close, that's when you can buy, and your invalidation is just a weekly close back below that weekly mid-range. Same with the USDT pair. You can buy here, and your invalidation is just a weekly candle close back below this weekly range low of $36, and you can cut your losses there. So I think it's well worth a bit of a trade, maybe a small bag, a swing bag, well worth it in my personal opinion, but not financial advice. Do your own research and figure out what is best for you. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, drop a comment. Are you investing in KSM? Are you holding from the last cycle? What's your average buy-in? What prices are you targeting, etc.? So drop those comments below, and also some suggestions for videos you'd like to see in the future. But for now, have a good weekend, and I'll catch you on the next one.